computer. Hey, everybody. It's me again, and I'm here with our backup guy, Sterling.
Hey, good to see everybody. Hello, Linda.
All right, and due to popular demand, I have him here. And you guys sent like 650 questions, so obviously we can't do them all. But I'm hoping to talk them into, maybe we can make a once every week or 2 week thing. And we can go off that list for a while. Plus, I'll do readings and take some stuff off that list.
Plenty to share.
How have you been? Is everything okay?
Going great. I have to babysit our St. Bernard today, so hopefully he'll behave. He won't start barking or something. We'll see here, but forgive me if he starts barking. So.
That's the same with my dogs. What are St. Bernards like as dogs?
Very demanding. So
really?
So I go by, in this family, I go by the name Staff. So whatever he needs, I have to do. So.
My uncle was producer for a lot of game shows in Hollywood. He did a movie too, but he used to work for that, who's that guy? He had kind of a weird face, and he took that show that used to be Groucho Marx show.
Okay.
Where the bird came down. What's that guy's name? Buster Buddy or something like that.
Okay.
But the guy was a real jerk to work with. My uncle was one of the associate producers, and he would treat him like the coffee guy. I need this. Hey, you, I need this. And I told my uncle, well, why did you put up with it? He said, because I just didn't want him to think I was working there for real, because then I'd really get it. If he knew you were a producer or something, he would. So anyway, he faked it like he was the staff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, and thank you guys for sending all these questions. My God, we got a plethora. I got to tell you, if you go on my YouTube where I said Sterling and I, if you look, you'll see all the list of questions. Okay.
We have enough for a bonus round.
I'll tell you, we got plenty.
Okay.
So, okay. First question. Unredacted Mueller report. Trouble for Trump, question mark.
It will be when it finally gets released. So what my guys are telling me is that there is collusion there. There's evidence of, biased actions with the Russian government. And so a lot of these things will get revealed, but I feel it's all going to come out in a climax, kind of almost at the same time. So the report and the financials, and it's going to be a collision course. So yes, there's a lot in there. And as Mueller said, he couldn't indict, but the information's in the report.
Talk about a stand-up man. And for a long time, when I was reading on him before all this stuff, I always saw him testifying before Congress. I often felt that the information he received would be really damaging. That's why it was so awful what Barr did. And then it was a nothing burger,
Right.
This guy got nothing to say. But definitely I feel the same way. And I think it'll come out before Trump exits.
Yeah, there's going to be, I really see kind of as a collision course. A lot of these things will all come out about the same time, kind of one after another. Everything has kind of met its time frame, and it'll all come out.
Okay. Now, nursing homes, are they in for a big change due to all this stuff going on?
They are, and one of the big things that's going to be happening with nursing homes is increased technology. So they'll actually be starting to use artificial intelligence for tracing technology. So these are things that really haven't been done seriously in the past, but they will be implemented. And I see a real focus on nursing homes because they've been kind of the nucleus of a lot and the highest risk patients. So that'll happen. And I see a lot more state and federal government intervention into the private nursing homes.
Right.
So I can see there's private ones and then ones that are federal or state run, but there'll be much more intervention from the government. So.
Right, especially, you like the people that own homes and do it. But I actually see even the nurses that work in those homes getting better pay, which helps.
Yeah, and I do too, but I think it's probably on a little bit of a slower ramp. So as the economy obviously restores itself, it probably a 12 to 24 month kind of a ramp as all that starts to take place. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's just they do charge a lot, and part of it is they need to pay the staff appropriately.
They do. And our teachers.
Yes. I dealt with a lot of nursing homes with my parents, and I really appreciate a lot of them. But see, I was a nurse, so I could go in there and defend my family. Uh,
Sure.
some people don't have that. They believe what they have to say, and I'm like, do you know who you're dealing with?
I've heard that in Hollywood a few times.
Gosh.
Same statement, yeah.
Okay, so Trump owes China money. What's going to happen with that? Big time money.
Yeah, so what I see happening is that as Trump leaves government, eventually, that there'll be a number of his assets that are seized. So he's got a number of assets that are highly leveraged with Chinese money. And so, I mean, they're secured. Those assets are secured. So the Chinese government's certainly not going to make, 70 cents on the dollar. They may make 10 to 20 cents on the dollar, but, there's going to be an asset seizure monopoly when Trump gets back on the private life. So.
Now, do you think that China wants him to be president again?
Well, right now things aren't going so well financially with him in the driver's seat, right? So, so that's a mixed bag right now, especially what's happening with North Korea. So a big destabilization, and I think what China's doing right now is they're analyzing what their options are. So what that'll mean in terms of, we'll talk about this in a second, what's happening in North Korea, potentially new leadership, and then what's happening with the presidential race in the U.S. So.
Okay. So the China thing, I'll do that separate in another interview, because I'll be honest with you right now, I'm not getting anything on it, which is weird. Okay, Merrick Garland, will he ever become a Supreme Court justice?
Interesting question. I feel he's finally going to make it in. We know there's a whole history there with the Obama administration, and I think that his candidacy ran out like 2017. It was the end of what he could be. He was nominated, then there was a process that he went through that ended in 2017. However, I think there will eventually be, unfortunately, a passing away of one of the Supreme Court justices.
I saw that too, yeah.
And then that'll be the replacement. Merrick will.
Well, Biden promised to put in a woman of color, but right. I think that's when they exit, because I've always seen this. I don't know. I need to ask you. I've always seen Kavanaugh having to go.
He has a rough ride, that's for sure. Yeah. And I think
I see testimony. I see them all over him like a cheap suit. He knows this is gonna be bad.
Yeah. Well, I just see a long, rough ride for Kavanaugh. I don't see an end to kind of his Supreme Court justice, but just a lot of, he's going to take a lot of fire, so to speak. So.
Oh, okay. I saw an end. When everybody was asking me, I was in Oklahoma, and people said, Linda, is Kavanaugh going to get in? And my guide said, yes, but somebody grabbed him by the shoulder and exited him out. So he'll have to leave his tenure before it's even over, or, it's a lifetime, but I just feel he's good. I think they will start giving Supreme Court justices a certain time frame.
They will. That's going to change in the future.
Right. And do you still see John Roberts hanging in there?
I do. Yeah. Rocky road for him too, but
yeah. But yeah. I see him turning it around because he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, and I think that when we get some new Supreme Court justices in there, that's going to it'll change the flavor of the court.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, this wasn't on the list, but Ruth Ginsburg, as soon as the new president's in, does she give her exit?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely an exit with her. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I hope it's not that she dies. I hope it's that she.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. I think there's some health concerns there, and
there always
I think there's a very critical timing there. Does she exit before the health concerns, or health concerns?
I just know when she does go, whatever happens, because Trump is dying for her to go.
Right.
I mean, if it's October, they'll have a new judge before the thing. And they'll even, if she dies before the transfer, he would try to get somebody in there. But such a ruckus is going to happen, But I do see her, okay, this is what I got. I feel definitely somebody who's a good justice is going in.
Oh, absolutely. And I think
Republican or Democrat. I think there's some Republicans that would be really good, that are fair.
There are. And I classify those as kind of the purple Republicans, so kind of partially Democratic, partially Republican. Yeah.
Right. Now, any virus consequence of opening Georgia and Florida?
You know, definitely some increased hotspot activity in both those states.
Okay.
And it looks like it's probably more severe for Florida. So the issues there are going to be, what I saw was a lot of people being, health-wise being transferred out of Florida to get medical care in other areas of the nation. So they have an issue where they can't help everybody in Florida, and they've got to get outside resources to do it. So the good news is that it won't necessarily increase the pandemic spread nationwide, and that's the other fear, is that spring break, go down to Florida, then come back all areas of the nation and cause a bigger problem. Looks like it'll be somewhat contained in Florida.
Right. And okay, so also, do you think that guy who's the governor is going to exit stage left?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
I think people will blame him.
Yeah, I mean, once we see the new White House get installed, it's going to cause a ripple effect, across the nation.
So on the same thing with China, Trump owing them money, he's coveted a lot of money from the United States government.
Mm-hmm.
Will he end up having to repay that money, or can he?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things where classified as a bad investment, and never really be able to get the money back. So I think what the nation will do is go through one of those situations we saw in the past, like with Nixon and other presidents, where they say, "Look, enough is enough. Goodbye." Because the cost of trying to go after the assets, whether they're there or not, yeah. So,
he helped his friends and his family.
yeah, the money's gone.
And stricter guidelines will come in. They're going to start voting for strict. No person like him could do this again. What's the fate of the United States Postal Service?
Interestingly enough, that has a multi-tiered success path. So right now, there's companies like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, getting ready. It will probably, I think, make a significant investment in the Postal Service in order to keep it afloat. Almost, I'll call it a bridge loan, but he's really going to provide the financing. And then we get the new administration, and they'll do more things to kind of bolster the post office. So it'll get saved. But right now, it's a mutual hand-holding, a mutual appreciation society between like Amazon and the post office. It provides a great service for Amazon, for example, and then the investment helps the post office.
Okay.
Here's that going forward. And, this is not investment advice, but I always thought that Amazon was eventually going to buy one of the big freight carriers, like maybe FedEx.
Oh.
So Amazon already owns Prime Air, and it would not be hard to understand why they would want to purchase a company like FedEx. So then they wouldn't lean so much on the post office. So that's the thing. So
right.
Short-term investment and then moving
But
out.
how did the post office get in financial trouble when Bezos decided to use them? They're getting a lot of business.
Yeah, it has to do with margins, right? Profit margins. So they're not making the kind of margins they need to keep the operation afloat.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I saw too. I saw Bezos coming in because Trump is saying you don't get 10 million unless you up the prices with Bezos.
Right.
But I think Bezos is going to work with him. He'll pay more, but he's definitely going to make it happen.
He will.
Trump has that hard on for Bezos, so Anyway, okay. So, will the Comet Atlas or Swan hit the Earth?
No. So as soon as I said, I got a definite no. One of them, I think it's Atlas, is already breaking apart.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Swan will now provide some great visibility in the sky. And I know this psychically and not, is that you'll see some visibility in the sky. When I looked at this psychically, they said no, but like Comet Jupiter will. And I thought that's kind of crazy. So I did a quick Google search on Comet Jupiter, and that actually hit, I think, 25 years ago. So there was a Comet Jupiter that it hit some planet. I got to go back and look at the records. Yeah. But it was the start of all of our defense strategy around comets. So it's interesting, when I got that, they said, no, but the Comet Jupiter will hit. Well, it did hit 25 years ago. So it was part of the whole, we have a better defense strategy. So
Right. I think they say this, not now, but eventually that'll be part of the end of the world, is a comet hit in the year 3000 something.
Just ask the dinosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Fires in California. Picking up anything on that?
Yeah, it looks to me like another round of fires in March. Yeah,
March
but
of next year?
yeah, yeah. But
Interesting.
I think that they'll be containable because we won't have as many. There are a lot of power company issues that occurred during the last round. So the high winds made a lot of power lines arc, but it looks like a lot of that's getting contained, and they're going to shut down power. They'll do power outages to stop a lot of that.
That's what I've been living with. It's a pain in the butt.
So that'll be the thing. The safety measure will be more power outages.
Well, I got a phone call from PG&E, and they were definitely okay. Right now, I just saw a pretty good sized fire in Southern California, and I'm feeling Marin County too. I've been feeling Marin County, but I saw, Point Reyes had one that even burned up Jesse Colin Young's studio, a huge fire years ago. Yeah. But I saw that PG&E called me, and they are doing drones and helicopters checking out the lines.
Right. Yeah, new safety measures now using drones to check power lines and all that.
Fortunately, this woke them up, so they're going to make sure their end is done.
Yeah, fantastic.
But we had, I don't know how many you guys had, but I probably had. I know one time we were down for over a week. We had all kinds of shutdowns, just because no fires, but just because.
Right.
So, is there any more stimulus checks coming in for Americans?
Okay, I found this on the web. Is there any more stimulus?
I didn't ask. Oh my God,
like,
it just answered.
Sounds like your Siri is working, yeah. Yeah, it looks to me like there's at least 2 more rounds, and could even be a 3rd round. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. And what about food shortages? Are you feeling food shortages?
No, but with the caveat that there's going to be less selection. So, instead of having, 50 different versions of cookies, you might end up with 20. But so what my guide said was no food shortages, but just a different kind of selection will be somewhat reduced to the supply chain and
Yeah, because they're even saying French fries. We don't have potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be interesting little pockets, but no major shortage, and nobody's going to go hungry. Yeah.
Right. So I went through the questions, but I think we have time for just a couple of more.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sure.
Okay. Now, people wanted to know, okay, you told us, well, how about Texas and the virus outbreak? Are they going to be okay?
I see a very similar thing with Texas to what's going to happen with Florida. There'll be some increased hotspots and then inability to take care of everybody. So they'll have to shuttle people out. So same kind of a thing, lean on other states to be able to support the sick. Yeah.
And what about DACA? Is the Supreme Court going to say yes on DACA?
We're talking about the Dreamers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Not so funny, but this question came up even a year ago when a lot of this was going on. And I even had some individuals ask me directly, and I said, it's all going to be fine. It's going to get stalled in the courts for a long time. And then once kind of a new administration comes in, it's going to get corrected. So I saw a lot of fighting and turmoil in the courts on it, but in the end, they're going to be okay.
Okay, good. Because these are kids that grew up here and who pay into, if they get a felony, they get screwed, but they're prominent citizens. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So anyway, people, somebody just said, Linda, you've mentioned recently, there are more challenges coming to Earth. I saw Earth shifts, Earth changes. I saw environmental things. Now, apparently I saw the virus and I just said there's a virus coming, but that's as far as I went. But they have told me, and I've said this on my video for a couple of years, fasten your seatbelts. Because our collective consciousness is totally changing, and it's actually for the better. But we're struggling in the meantime. So I just want to ask your opinion of changes.
changes on the Earth, kind of the
Yeah.
planet and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, probably the most notable is going to be a lot of climate changes. So, I mean, a lot of activity that, places that never got, in triple digits will be more consistently triple digits, more
Right.
tornadoes and more major, water events, more flooding, more sporadic earthquakes. There's going to be a lot of, activity on the Earth that's going to be, I think did you say fasten your seatbelt? They're going to have to
Yeah.
kind of be,
Gonna be a bumpy ride.
be cognizant of it. And, and this whole COVID-19 pandemic has really put a whole new spin on what it means to be kind of responsible in a new age of medical and medicine and technology. I think a lot of people, including some very smart people, thought there was enough technology out there to combat anything. And
Yeah.
now I realize that, Mother Nature is pretty strong. And so you're going to have to, she always kind of writes the rules.
Right.
So I have to
Right.
respect that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, do you feel good?
Yeah, I think we
Probably
covered
a
a
good
lot.
chunk of time. We'll probably hook up again in a week or 2 weeks if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem at all. Absolutely. And
What's
I
the
was
weather like down there? Is it hot?
yeah, it's just starting to warm up. I think it was low 90s yesterday. So
Oh, well, yeah, we're 90s out here too.
yeah, so it's
I guess the
beach
virus.
weather. It's beach weather, but with a 12-foot distance.
Oh, real quick, one last question. Trump said that, in fact, he's trying to tell us all that we didn't hear him say that injections of, and
Clorox.
apparently doctors are writing and saying, this is no joke. We're getting people coming in.
Yeah,
that
just
are-
crazy.
Is
Yeah.
is this hurting him? Yes or no?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, what I also picked up was and I forget the name of the ship commander's name for that
Yeah, for
aircraft
that
carrier.
ship. Yeah.
But the fact that there was actually almost more damage done to a lot of his base when that ship's officer was then let go than even what's going on with the Clorox discussion, because I think that a lot of smart people already knew that was crazy. But looks like what's going on, and I heard they're going to try to reinstate that officer for the aircraft carrier. Now I lost your audio. Can you hear me?
I found it.
Oh, now you're back.
I didn't touch that. For some reason, it went on mute.
Okay.
I guess they're saying close ship.
All right, we can take a hint.
There you go. All right, my friend. I will talk to you soon.
Fantastic.
And you guys, thank you so much. We just so enjoy it. And you can, I'll put the way you can contact Sterling on the bottom of this. Go ahead and say it out loud, though.
It's sterlingpsychicmedium.com.
Yeah, because he's enjoying this.
All
All right,
right.
my friend.
Have a great day.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Bye.